ESPN Sports presents coverage of high school gymnastics tonight. A Northwest Suburban Conference meet featuring Maple Grove and Champlin Park, the Crimson and the Rebels. Second week of the season for each of these teams. John Jacobson along with Debbie Rasmussen. Great to be back with high school gymnastics here again for the 2021-22 season.
It is so fun to be back. It's also very fun to come back after an Olympic year, especially when, our Olympic champion came from our own state. That's pretty exciting. Awesome. But to open up our coverage to have Champlin Park and Maple Grove, it's a great way to start our season. We are starting with Maple Grove varsity on the bars tonight. And
both of these teams, a little bit younger, Deb, especially Maple Grove featuring some middle schoolers this year and not as many girls who have competed varsity. And for Champlin Park, a few older girls as far as grade level, but not as much varsity experience. Each of these teams losing a fair amount of girls to graduation a year ago.
And that's always hard when they've both been so strong over the past years. But we're watching a really nice bar routine right now. She's doing a lot of kip work on that bottom bar. Cast to handstands. These are giant swings, which are beautiful. Not quite sure. Oh, she must have a bum foot, so chose not to do probably the beautiful back layout dismount that we were normally used to seeing and stuff. Really worked the bars well, but like we talked about earlier, these girls, the teams are younger. They're in that rebuilding stage. We've watched both of them be so strong for such a long time. Those girls started with them 7th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade. Now they're graduating, so now we have a young crop of girls that are coming in as well.
So that was Kylie Mccaffrey, who just competed, and Sasha Thompson will be the 5th and final competitor. We apologize for missing the first couple of gymnasts coming into the rotation. And we'll get to see these girls again throughout the bars, beam, and floor still to come here tonight.
Sasha she was a very successful gymnast from last year, so I'm so excited to see her this year. I think she placed in the all-around at the state meet, and it looks like vault is probably one of her best events. And so it's just kind of a familiar face that we're seeing here again, too.
Sasha in her 5th year on the team, 14th overall last year in the state in the all-around, and finished 9th on the vault. If you remember, last year the state meet was held here. We didn't have the big venues that we went to. University of Minnesota didn't have any venues that the high schools could compete in, so the state meet was held right here. So
that's right, and this is a beautiful gym for that meet. Sasha starts out with a kip cut catch, and she does a switch kip, which is showing a good change of direction, getting ready for her cast to handstand. Got some beautiful giant swings and a wonderful full twisting layout dismount. You could not land that dismount any better. You'll see that her giant swings, her arms are straight. That's what they're looking for. And here she goes, full twist. And there is not a movement on that dismount at all. Nice bar routine. When we're watching bars, judges are going to be looking for body position, straight arms, fluidity. Every move, there can't be any stops or starts. Moves have to go in and out. They have to switch bars, work on the low bar, work on the high bar. They need to change directions. A lot of times when you're seeing those cast to handstands, they want to make sure that handstand is exactly on the top of the bar and elbows and arms are perfectly straight.
Wait for the score here for Sasha. One judge posting an 8-8. Again, finished in the top 10 on state, 9.675 to end the year. And you don't necessarily expect that kind of score early in the season, right?
No.
You build up toward the higher mark. You want to score, obviously, as high as possible early in the year, but you you've got a lot of season to go here.
And a lot of times the girls are putting together routines that they can do clean and compete with at the beginning of the season. But during the week, and they're working on new skills, new tricks, more difficulty for those higher start values. So at the beginning, you want to do the routines that you're able to do cleanly, get the top score that you can. And as the weeks go on, then you're going to introduce more difficulty. You're going to work on more skills in that gym. So it becomes, you can add those skills as the season goes on.
Score of 8.55 for Sasha Thompson. We'll take our first break. We'll come back. More gymnastics, Champlin Park and Maple Grove after this.
CCX Media, your source for great local programming, is now available on Roku and Apple TV. Our free app allows you to stream all 3 of our channels live. You'll also have access to a large on-demand library, including daily newscasts and full sporting events. To find the app, go to the store and search CCX and download our free app. Then sit back and enjoy all of your favorite local content. Now available on Roku and Apple TV.
John Jacobson, Debbie Rasmussen back here at Champlin Park High School. We'll get to see the Rebels varsity for the first time tonight as their JV competitors went to begin the night on vault. Now they're varsity girls. Hannah Davis will lead it off for them, followed by Mckenna Bloom, Melanie Martin, Bella Schneider, and Jordan Smith.
We kind of were thrown for a little bit of a loop tonight to the way the rotation system goes, where normally it's, varsity's on one event and JV's on the other, but they're letting the teams compete as a whole.
That came into play last year because of the COVID, and one team on one apparatus and they wipe it down and then you move on to the next. And so that has continued into this winter as well. As you get sophomore Hannah Davis.
Starts out with a really strong first vault. She does a half on, half off. She had great body position, arms, legs were straight, and just a teeny little step on that landing there.
Score for her of 7.825 on vault 1 on her second try here.
Yep, this one again, just a really clean vault. She has a slight bend in her arm. That might be a little bit of a deduction, but a good landing, small step. Judges are going to be looking pre-flight, on the vault, and the after flight. You'll see here she has great extension, great body, little bit of a step on that landing. Distance from the platform is the vaulting platform they're going to be looking for too. You kind of want to be farther away than maybe she was, but still a really clean vault.
Second vault, 7.8. Here's freshman Mckenna Bloom.
Really nice vault. You'll see there she like went farther than our first vaulter, and that's something they look for on the after flight. So we're seeing here, this is looks like a quarter on, half off maybe, or half on, half off. Maybe didn't get all the way around, but the after flight was beautiful. She had lots of distance from that vaulting platform, and again, a nice landing.
And scored well, 8.175. And vault 2.
A little bit deep in that landing. She wasn't able to quite get that block off the horse to have that straight body landing, but she didn't sit it down, and that you'll see how close she came to almost having to sit backwards. Fights for that landing. Definitely the first vault is going to be the higher score, but she has great body position on this vault. Good form.
Second vault scoring an even 8. Melina Ong, junior, is the third Rebel up tonight on the vault. Opened last week with an 8.35 score.
That is a really nice vault for her. She has great block, great distance from that platform, but watch the landing. That's what's so impressive. She's twisting. She gets her body all the way around, and her feet are just glued to the mat.
Coach Wynia noting in his notes what a hard worker she is in the gym and really works at this sport to get better. 8.2 for her first vault.
Again, another really good vault. Maybe not quite the distance, but she had a little bit more extent on that pre-flight too, so it should score, I think, fairly close to that. You'll see here a little bit more of a leg separation, but when you're on the side as a judge, that's kind of hard to see. So she might get by with that, but again, just another really good vault.
A little higher score, 8.275 for Melina's second vault. Senior Bella Schneider up next for the Rebels, one of the captains for this team.
Really nice vault. She has such great body position on that pre-flight. You almost want to hit that vault in a complete handstand, and you don't want to be on that vault for very long. You don't want to linger. See how she's just on there and off ever so quickly. Beautiful half twist, small little side step on that landing. You'll find that the powerhouse vaulters barely have their hands hit. They hit and they block and they're off, and she does a really good job with this one. Again, just a couple of little steps on that landing, but what impresses me is that half twist is all the way around before she hits the mat. Let's see here, she does that half on, but her hips are totally facing forward, which means you get that whole half twist. A lot of times gymnasts can be a little short on that. They don't quite make it all the way around, and then they kind of zip that hip at the end. And
8.05 on the second vault, 8.25 on Bella's first vault. And now another senior captain, Jordan Smith, scored an 8.5 last week in this event.
Judges standing in, and we were watching her warm up. I believe she's going to throw a Sukahari. The judge or the coach is in there. And at the beginning of the season, maybe she's not quite ready to throw this on her own here. We'll see how it goes. So just, it's a beautiful vault. It's very difficult, and he does exactly what he's supposed to do. He reaches in there to make sure that she doesn't get injured. She landed a little short. She has a great pre-flight, strong block. Just kind of starts to tuck sooner than probably, like she just needs to wait a half a second and then start that flip. But this is what the beginning season is all about. You will watch this vault develop as the season goes on, and she will get stronger and stronger with it. Much better second vault. You could tell he had to help her a lot less. She was able to stand that vault up, and that back flip was quicker. You kind of see she waits just a hair longer. Nice block, then goes ahead and does that back flip. By mid-season, she'll probably have this, and it'll be absolutely beautiful. So that was a good vault. On the first vault, she got the deduction for the fall as well as the coach spotting her. So this should be, a bit better of a score because he, didn't have to help her around quite as much.
7.6 the score for Jordan Smith's second vault. We will take a break. Our next rotation up next. More gymnastics from Champlin Park High School right after this. We are back at Champlin Park High School, getting ready to watch Maple Grove compete on the vault. Followed by Champlin Park on the uneven bars as we get into our second full rotation. Maple Grove will start with Ava Plath, followed by Annika Dufault, Danica Hahn, Kylie Mccaffrey, and then Sasha Thompson. Warm-up time is over.
Very nice, half on, half off. Great body position on the front of that vault, and on the platform she had good. She just kind of let a little loose on that landing. You'll see she had to bend her legs a little bit, but great extension here, and just a little low. She had that little dip in the shoulder, but I love the distance that she has from that platform. For people that maybe haven't watched gymnastics in forever, the gymnasts are allowed 2 vaults, and then they average the score of the 2 vaults.
7.8 was the first score for Ava, second vault.
Another really good second vault. Just that little bit. When judges are looking at that last part of that vault, you'll just see that she just bends in the hips a little bit more than probably what they're hoping for, and that forces her to take that step backwards. But great pre-flight, and on that platform, good form for her.
Talked about this Maple Grove team, especially being young. Here's Annika Dufault, the 7th grader, to get her first vault here. Ava, her first gymnast, was an 8th grader, and now Annika, a 7th grader.
And we've talked about this in the past too. When you're a coach and you actually get to get these girls in 7th grade, you've got 6 years that you potentially can have them, 6 to 7 years. And it's just fun. You get to develop them in your program and the way you want them to train. And this was a beautiful vault for her. You could tell her body position on that after flight was just a little bit straighter, and you notice that she stands it up a little bit more. Again, really nice vault, tiny step forward.
7.9 on her first vault. We'll wait for a score on Annika's second vault.
I think, in listening to some of them chat down there too, these 7th graders are young, and you're in the gym with the older girls, but it sounds like the camaraderie, those older girls take them under their wing and just really help protect them and develop them too.
There's Sabrina Chapman, second year as head coach. Coach was an assistant coach with her mom here for a few seasons. Shannon stepped away from coaching. Her daughter has taken over, and she talked about the young gymnasts and how they've got years to work with the girls. So assuming they stay with the program and at Maple Grove, and that's always exciting. A young team, but potential, even if the scores won't necessarily show it all this season or tonight specifically early in the season.
Absolutely. That was about the best handspring you could possibly do. That was a beautiful vault. It might not have the difficulty of the twisting vaults, but I don't think you could do any better on this vault.
Danica Hahn scoring an 8.325.
Those big steps on the end there, that was actually prettier than the first one, believe it or not, but they had to take those steps on the last one. Vaults have levels of difficulty, and anytime you add twisting, you increase that level of difficulty. But in this situation, this handspring vault, she is perfectly straight. She has great distance. She just almost over-rotated that.
7.9 in the second vault. So the first vault is the high score. Now Kylie Mccaffrey, junior, competing.
Now we have a handspring full, and I thought that handspring was good. This is a phenomenal handspring full. So she has a complete full twist on the back side of that vault. What we are looking for here is to get a block before she starts that twist, which she does, and then fully completes that twist before her feet hit the mat. And in this case, this is fantastic. See it again here. She is on and off that platform so quick. Twist, boom. Almost could have pulled a 1.5 twist there. That is beautiful.
Kylie's first vault was an 8.45. We'll see how this one scores. You like that one a little better, second vault?
The landing maybe wasn't as strong, but watch this. She's off, and she completes that entire full twist. Her hips are completely facing forward and open. That was, better in some aspects, but a little bit bigger of a step on that one. But hard to say a little cleaner of a twist, but it kind of was.
They did score a little higher, a quarter point higher, 8.7. And now Sasha Thompson, we talked about her when we saw her on the bars, about how strong she was in the vault. We'll get a chance to see her here, top 10 finisher at state a year ago.
She does a vault there called a tuck sukahara. That's a half twist on, backflip off. And again, the height that she has on that after flight, the distance that she has, she almost over-rotates it. Beautiful. You'll just see here, she just needs to, maybe slow that flip down, or actually, she could probably lay that out. She's got that potential. You can do it in a tuck pike or layout, and each one has a little bit more difficulty rewarded to it.
First vault was an 8.95. I think this one's going to score better.
I think so too. She had a higher, the block off the horse, the backflip was higher. She stood it up a little bit more, but a couple of steps on the landing there. But this half twist is so clean, and boom, she just blocks nice. You'll see anytime they land with their shoulders up higher, that has been a really good landing. That was a nice vault.
We'll wait a moment on the score for Sasha here on the vault.
This was her best event in the state meet last year, so it's always, fun to watch them progress as the season goes on.
Well, I guess we won't. They did not post the score, and I'm sure she earned a score, but we did not actually see it turned out.
1-9.
1-9, okay.
Yeah, but.
Well, we started the night on the uneven bars for Maple Grove, seeing Donna Kahan and Abby Palmer and Sasha Thompson, the last three gymnasts competing. Now we get to see them here finish up on the vault, and we will take a break. We'll go back to the uneven bars. Champlin Park's varsity will be next. So JV competing and finishing up, and warm-ups and the varsity coming up next here on CCX.
If I could be you and you could be me for just 1 hour, if we could find a way to get inside each other's minds, walk a mile in my shoes, walk a mile in my shoes. Well, before you abuse, criticize and accuse, walk a mile in my shoes.
Back at Champlin Park, the Rebels competing on the bars. Ellie Heltemus, a senior, just finishing up her routine a moment ago. Michaela Pichon is up next, followed by Melina Ung, Bella Schneider, and Jordan Smith. And as Michaela gets on the bars and starts her routine.
Oh gosh, missed a rear uprise there. Unfortunately has a little bit of a fall. She does have 10 seconds to get back on the bar. Looks like they might be discussing, and that I believe might be it for her. So she must have some type of possibly injury, perhaps, that she just, and that can happen. You think you can make it through.
So she couldn't complete her routine. Here is Ellie Heltemus, a senior who started tonight's bars for Champlin Park.
Does a beautiful kip sequence in both on the low and high bar, and does a straddle half twist dismount.
Next up is Melina Ung. So Melina on the vault, score an 8.275.
In scoring, I wonder if they'll get to drop the gal score because she's obviously, got that. Didn't get a score for that routine. So she does here a kip, back hip circle to a squat on. Here is the rear up rises into that back hip circle. Long hang kip. Another one, big cast. Really nice tuck flyaway dismount. A lot of height on that dismount and just the teeniest of tiny steps. You'll see here she does that back hip circle, big cast. And again, when we talk about that landing, her shoulders were completely facing forward and she almost lands that in a more of a stand-up position. That's what judges are going to be looking for too.
Rebels tonight competing without Katie Johnson, who's really is their top gymnast. She was a late scratch, and Maple Grove tonight without 4 of their gymnasts, and hoping to have them back this season. So it's a little tough when you don't have your full lineup and you're moving girls around in different positions. 7.1 the score for Melina Ong, and here's Bella Schneider.
Again, that rear uprise is what that move is called into. Back hip circle, a couple of long hang kips here, connecting really well to a wonderful layout flyaway dismount and just hits that landing solid. That, you're shuffling girls too. You've got girls that maybe aren't quite prepared for varsity, but you have to throw them in there because you need that score. Look at her fight for that landing. That's really good. That was a beautiful dismount. I mean, missing 1 or 2 gymnasts is a lot. Missing 4 is 3/4 of your, depending on where they are in the lineup.
There's John Winey, 25th season as head coach at Champlin Park. His assistant, Lindsey Pike, you see at the end of the, well, I can't see him right now. We'll talk about him in a moment as Bella Schneider,
Beautiful.
Jordan Smith comes up.
Opening sequence kip into free hip. Gorgeous cast to handstand. Notice the arms. They're just perfect as she's going through this. And a layout flyaway dismount. Nice job. That was a wonderful routine.
Nice job for Jordan Smith finishing up for Champlin Park, the 5th and final competitor for the Rebels.
You'll see here she just floats this layout, full twisting layout. What she did that was so great is when she cast it to that handstand, she was almost exactly on top of the bar. Judges are going to be looking for that. She kept her arms and her shoulders in that straight position as she goes through those giants. You don't want to show any type of bend at all. That was beautiful.
I just wanted, before we go to break, and more importantly, before I forget about it, mentioning Coach Pike, I said John Winey's in his 25th year. Coach Pike in his 30th year with the program as an assistant, took 5 years before John became head coach, and has been an invaluable part of this coaching staff for years. So good to see him back again this year with John and helping coach these girls. There's Lindsay, and again, he's worked with a lot of great gymnasts over the years.
And imagine the stories and what he has seen and how he's watched high school women's gymnastics evolve. I mean, if we're going to date ourselves, as I shall, we were used to do floor on wrestling mats. They now have spring floors. We had wood beams. They now have beautifully padded suede beams. So he has watched this sport come from, one end to the other, and the level of difficulty and the skills that they're now able to compete because the equipment's gotten so much better.
We'll take a break. We'll come back. Be up on the balance beam next. More high school gymnastics on CCX right after this.
Worried about your friend but don't know how to reach out?
You can say how are you or get a fake tattoo. You can ask with an app if it works for you. You can chat with them in VR. It's so good. If you think you should check in, yeah, you should.
Whatever gets you talking. Reach out to a friend about their mental health. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org.
And some of the fans here tonight at Champlin Park High School for our Northwest Suburban Conference meet between Maple Grove and Champlin Park. As I said, we're coming back to the balance beam. We're actually coming back to the floor exercise. And Maple Grove varsity up first, and it's Annika Dufault, the 7th grader, competing. She'll be followed by Sienna Poling, Danica Hahn, Kylie Mccaffrey, and Sasha Thompson. A little fun with the music, Deb, to start off. Annika's routine here in her first pass.
She starts with round up back handspring back flip. I think it has been fun watching this particular apparatus evolve from being, you know, more ballet to more. It's a show out there for these girls, and I think we've seen that from anywhere from the Olympics to college up to obviously the collegiate. Really has turned this piece of apparatus around. The music has changed. It's from Cooper years. It's funner. There's a beautiful punch front to a dive roll.
Cooper graduate education.
It was a great school, in the 1900s. Round off back handspring, 2 back handsprings to a nice block to finish that off. Trying to time to the music. You have all your little movements and dances. There you go, nice ending to that.
And that always takes some time too with a routine, right? As you know, again, we're in the first week plus of the season here to get the timing right with your moves and your music to time out the way you want it to.
Because it's new choreography for a lot of these girls. Like she opens up here with a lovely round up back handspring back flip, had great height. It was about shoulder height, so that will score well. And then a punch front dive roll into that cartwheel. And then last pass, maybe not the difficulty, but really done well. She does a round off 2 back handsprings to a nice block, ending position. But you're right. Every year, girls get new routines, and so it's just like learning a dance if you're a dancer, or a system in hockey. It takes a while for you to work out the kinks and get comfortable, and the muscle memory. So it's just no big deal. You just know that routine from start to finish.
Score 6.85 for Annika and Ava Platt. Excuse me, Sienna Poling, my mistake.
Beautiful layout there.
Sienna's a sophomore.
Switch leap into a full twisting wolf leap. Great dance combination. And you know what? This is my favorite when we do this. Look at her smile. She is having a ball out there. And that's another thing that you want to see. She's playing to the judges. She's playing to the crowd. Really working the music. There's a punch front, dive roll cartwheel. The girls have to tumble in a forward momentum as well as a backward. You can't do the whole 3 passes backwards. You gotta change it up a bit. Doing a nice job of that. Beautiful wolf jump into full twisting straddle jump. Anytime you add twists to jumps or leaps, you are getting a higher value for that combination. Cute routine. Round up 2 back handsprings, blows a kiss to the judge. Really nice.
Sienna's a little exhausted, but she really had fun with that routine.
Well, and that's the other thing is you haven't worked up your stamina yet. By the time it comes to the end, you've done how many routines in a day, in a week, and you're just a little bit better conditioned as the season goes on as well. Last pass here was round up 2 back handsprings, straight arms, great position on those.
Danica Hahn is up next for Maple Grove. Score of 7.75 for Sienna Poling. And now Danica Hahn.
Who's ever choreographing those routines is doing an excellent job. They are hitting every beat of the music has a movement to it. Beautiful split loop into full twisting jump there. Punch front, double punch front, and boy, the second one was just as high as the first. That'll score well. Gorgeous full turn into full twisting tuck jump. And just the way the music has evolved too, it's fun. There's a layout half twist into forward roll. And ready for that last tumbling pass. Round up 2 back handsprings, nice back flip. There's something you don't see on the floor every day. That was fabulous. I love the originality. Again, I'd be interested to see who's doing the choreography, because so far all these first 3 routines have fun choreography. You'll see here she does a punch front, and the second one is just as high as the first. That's hard to do. We're going to do a layout half twist into forward roll. And lastly, round up 2 back handsprings into a really nice high back tuck.
Score of 8.05 for Danica Hahn, so their highest score so far. The scores continue to rise in this event for the Crimson. And Kylie McCaffrey, junior, up next. One of the high scores for this Crimson team. And she's one that Coach Sabrina said he has more skills that they're going to add before the end of the season. So whatever we see tonight, we'll see better, right? And come section time.
Yep, you're going to just keep adding. And that, of course, adds to the difficulty. That was a phenomenal layout half twist. There is a trick. She did a one-arm front walkover. I don't know if I've seen that since my day. I love when they go back to the older stuff. It's very unique. Front handspring layout front. One and a half to 1.5 twisting tuck jump. Again, we're adding those dance combinations, which are so important, and you get a little bit higher score because there's a little bit more difficulty to that. Round up 2 back handsprings into a nice back flip. Really nice routine. I'll be excited to see what she's going to add in the future, because I thought that was really well done. And again, great choreography.
Look at part of Kylie's routine again.
That first tumbling pass was a layout half twist. And she does that so high that she lands completely standing up. Same with that handspring front layout. And here her back, 2 back handsprings into that nice high back tuck. She's a great tumbler.
8.075 for Kylie McCaffrey. And Sasha Thompson will wrap it up for the Crimson varsity here on the floor.
Look at that face on her. She is loving it. Watched her in warm-ups. It's pretty amazing routine. She's doing a handspring, or excuse me, a handstand pirouettes, full twisting wolf jump. We get ready for this first tumbling pass. Front handspring, full twisting front in a laid out position. Having a lot of fun with this. That That's what I mean about watching the sport evolve from, you know, just piano music and ballet movements to we are loving life right now. Second tumbling pass. Wow, round off. Back handspring, 1.5 twist punch front.
There's a tremendous amount of energy.
Oh my stars. I actually feel like I'm watching a college. This is, if you go to the NCAA gymnastics, this is how their routines are choreographed. They're amazing. That full twisting, she was solid on that landing. Oh, you just want to sit back and watch. I feel like I should clap. That was wonderful, wonderful. The choreography was great. The tumbling was fantastic. And if we take a look here, so this first tumbling pass that she does is a handspring full twist, but then she adds a double stag jump on the end. But this one is what a lot of girls will open with because it's a 1.5 to a punch front, and then her last one, round up 2 back handsprings into that full twist. Just a solid landing. This will get a really good score. That's a nice job. It's been, like I said, I don't mean to keep preaching on this, but it's been so fun to see this evolve from one part of choreography to the next. If you want to go online and watch Caitlin, I think it's O'Shaughnessy, she's from UCLA. She does a floor routine to Proud Mary. Phenomenal. And so you're seeing that choreography coming down to the high school level because they can, and it's entertaining to watch.
Sasha Thompson, 9.575 for that floor routine. We're only in week 2 of the season. That was terrific.
Oh my stars, that's a wonderful routine. Probably is just gonna go up from there.
We'll take time out, we'll come back. Now we'll go to the balance beam next as Champlin Park varsity will be up in a moment. More gymnastics from Champlin Park High School after this.
CCX Media, your source for great local programming, is now available on Roku and Apple TV. Our free app allows you to stream all 3 of our channels live. You'll also have access to a large on-demand library, including daily newscasts and full sporting events. To find the app, go to the store and search CCX and download our free app. Then sit back and enjoy all of your favorite local content. Now available on Roku and Apple TV.
Back at Champlin Park High School, we go to the balance beam. Champlin Park, Mckenna Bloom leading off for the Rebels.
Oh, the balance beam. Very much the most nerve-wracking piece of apparatus that we have. It has a lot of the same requirements that the floor does. The only difference is 4 inches wide and 4 feet off the ground. She just did a double cartwheel there, and what makes that done so well is she continued to move in between one cartwheel to the next, and unfortunately dropped her shoulder a little bit on that, and she ended up having to have that fall. Does a nice aerial round off dismount. Other than that fall at the very end, that was a great routine. So the balance beam, you have a minute to a minute 30 to be on that balance beam. You have requirements. There has to be a full turn. There has to be a dance acro series. There has to be 2 dance elements, 2 jumps. You need leaps. So the choreography on the beam is just as important as the choreography on the floor. However, maybe can't have quite as much fun on the balance beam as the girls did on the floor.
Other than the apparatus being different, do the routines much different from when you competed? Yeah.
You know, not really. I mean, there's definitely more combinations that we weren't required to have. Oh, gosh darn, there goes her. Missed that second step into that cartwheel. But other than that, you know, obviously things have become, tricks are becoming a little bit more difficult. But beam is probably the least changed of the routines and events. since I graduated, which really was only 20 years ago, right?
Or so. Ellie Heltemus here is the second Rebels gymnast up on the beam. Mckenna Bloom scored a 7.175.
Again, another aerial round-off dismount on that one. You do lose a half a point for the fall, and unfortunately, you know, it's a tough way to start out, but we are in the beginning of that season, and that's what these meets are for. She walks into that aerial round-off. Nice job, great body position, just a small step on that landing. Nobody expects you to come out of the chute unless, you know, you're Sasha with a 9.5. But, you know, that's a little bit more of a rare case. But your goal is, as a team and as an individual, every meet to have your personal score and your team score continue to build as that season goes. Just like when we watch the girls in the lineups, the first girl might not have the most difficulty. She's probably the most consistent, especially on the balance beam, but you want your scores to increase with each gymnast.
6.425 for Ellie Heltemus, and now Melina Ung.
The full turn is every single gymnast has to have that in their routine, and it is so much harder than you think. I've watched more girls fall on that than standing back flips. They need to show a change of direction as she's doing right here. You can't do your whole beam routine standing up. You've got to do some of your beam work in a lower position. There's your jump sequence. Really, really nice split jump into 3/4 tuck jump. Dismount, aerial round up, small step, really nice routine. It was very clean. It didn't have the tumbling difficulty that some girls, you know, that we're used to seeing, but everything was done really well. This is called an aerial round off. So it's like an aerial cartwheel, but you land with your feet together and the tiniest of little step on the end there.
Yeah, not fancy, but solid,
But
right?
solid,
Really solid.
Exactly. And those are routines that can score, you know, well too. She didn't fall. She had, you know, that split leap twisting jump, which is a great combination, which should get her some, you know, extra points. They're starting to award the dance elements with what the tumbling can be. If you're not a good tumbler on the beam, but you're a good dancer, you can score just as well too. Starts off with a tuck jump mop, full turn.
Excuse me, 7.75 for Melina, now Bella Schneider.
There's a split jump, and it just kind of goes to show you that balance beam is about as wide as her foot. So you can, you know, if your pinky toe is off and your shoulders dip, you're standing on the mat next to you. Nice cartwheel sequence into a round off. Beautiful. What's important on that one is you want to swing that foot all the way through. And a wonderful round off backflip dismount. It was a great connection. She didn't hesitate from the round off to the backflip. I get the feeling she's got a bum ankle there. Obviously it's taped a little tight. But all in all, this was really nice. Round offs always amaze me. It's hard enough to do a cartwheel on the beam, let alone do a round off when you're landing with both feet together.
Jordan Smith will be up next. Rebels also hope to have Gabby Palm back in January. She got hurt early in practice, but is definitely a varsity contributor that they should have back before season's end. And we mentioned Katie Johnson out tonight. Likely a state qualifier. Potentially could be this year. Again, it's all about keeping people healthy and being healthy at the right time of the year, right?
At the right time, yep. And it's, you know, You don't want to see any gymnast have any type of situation, but if it has to happen in the beginning of the year versus the end of the year. So these team scores tonight probably aren't going to be indicative of what they're capable of because they've got so many people, out for different reasons and things. And it's, that's tough as a coach because you're trying to build and you want your scores to go. But when you're missing key players in the gymnastics meet here, it's tough.
Judges Laura Bush and Amy Schmidt conferring on Bella Schneider's score, which is the reason for the delay before Jordan Smith gets up on the beam.
I was trying to make a reference, like what would it be like for the Vikings if they were missing like the whole team and maybe the practice team could come on?
Lose to the Lions.
I'm sorry if there are any Vikings fans. It's been a tough year.
6.725 for Bella Schneider. And now here's Jordan Smith.
Oh, darn. That was beautiful. Switch leap into a three-quarter twisting split leap. The beam is an event, too, where you have to do repetition, many beam routines to get your flow, to get the swing going. And again, it's our second meet for Champlin. And so the more meets you compete, the stronger you get, the more consistent you get also. Wow, round up, full twisting back flip. It was a great dismount. She had those couple of falls that are tough. But again, this is the time that you want to have it. So we're going to take a look at this round off full twist. And just a little bit off to the side there. She's good. She didn't go too far. She would have ended up on that floor, which might have stung her feet a little bit. But beam especially is routine after routine after routine consistency. You want to get on that beam as if it were a day in practice. When you talk about, like we watch the Olympics all summer, and when they are on the podium doing their, they have probably done 500 balance beams routines in the last, 4 months leading up to the Olympics. So to them, it's just muscle memory. And we don't have that luxury yet, so we're going to be seeing them get stronger as the season goes on. The more routines, the more consistency you'll get.
And Jordan's routine has the potential to score high.
Yes.
She had the falls. As it was, she scored an 8.
And take those 2 falls back, and she's in the 9, the low 9s. Great score.
We'll take a break. We'll come back. Each team with one apparatus to go. Champlin Park still to come on the floor. Maple Grove on the balance beam. And we will be back to Champlin Park High School on CCX in a moment.
If I could be you, and you could be me for just 1 hour. If we could find a way to get inside each other's minds. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes. Well, before you abuse, criticize, and accuse. Walk a mile in my shoes.
With Debbie Rasmussen, I'm John Jacobson. Welcome back to Champlin Park High School. Last routine for Maple Grove's varsity is the balance beam. Annika Dufault will lead it off, followed by Ava Plath, Danica Hahn, Kylie McCaffrey, and then finally Sasha Thompson. Annika, one of the all-arounders tonight, and now she gets her shot at the beam.
It's a pretty big job for a 7th grader to be one of your all-arounders, I think. They definitely see a lot of potential. We did a wolf jump into a tuck jump, tiny balance check there, not bad. There's that full turn. Cartwheel, swings that foot through into the, oh gosh, just off a hair. That round off is tough. split jump to the 3/4 twisting tuck jump. Again, we talk about early in the seasons, these little falls are going to happen. She's a cartwheel right into a back flip. Good landing. And, you know, for a 7th grader, it's probably one of her first, this is Maple Grove's first meet. Could be one of her first high school, Maple Grove's second meet. It's, you know, as a 7th grader, that's a lot of pressure. Here she goes, cartwheel, back flip. Small step on that landing, good job. The more routine she does in the gym, the more consistent she is going to be. She does have a great routine and has the potential for scoring really, really well in the future.
Ava Plath up next for the Crimson.
Ava's just a pretty gymnast. She's got great hands on the events that we've seen her on. So there's a nice tuck jump, split jump.
Saw Ava earlier tonight on the vault. The score for Annika default, by the way, 6.35. Now Ava recover from the fall.
Gonna fall on that cartwheel, but she's able to hang on to that tuck jump. Nice job. Does that half twist into back flip. Good landing. Again, a foul, but all in all, a nice routine.
There you saw Jason Bell. He's one of the assistant coaches, and the spotter hasn't need to do a lot of heavy lifting, so to speak, tonight as far as spotting his girls, but always a key part of any gymnastics coaching team, right? The spotter.
The spotter is what allows these girls to feel comfortable in throwing these tricks while you're learning them. It is hard to be a spotter, and you probably can get more injured than the gymnast at the time because your responsibility is make sure they land somehow on their feet. And girls have great confidence in their spotter. You're able to learn more of the difficult tricks.
Annika Hahn is the third gymnast up, 6.6 score for Ava Plath. Melanie Martin and Courtney Simonson round out the coaching staff for Maple Grove.
Split jump into a wolf jump, nice combination. There's that cartwheel. What you're wanting to do in that situation is connect those two cartwheels, and she didn't do it the first time, so she can choose while she's up there to try that again, because you want to swing that foot through on that second cartwheel. Very nice aerial round off dismount, but she'll lose that connection because you put your foot down. You want that foot to go all the way through before you put that other foot down. But this was lovely. This is a nice aerial round off, great body position. And because she missed the first cartwheel connection, she had the luxury of trying it again. Unfortunately, that second one didn't get connected either, but just great form.
Kylie Mccaffrey will be up next for Maple Grove. No seniors on this Grove team. What a young gymnast competing. You know, Kylie and Sasha, two of the veterans, both juniors.
You know, and that's a gift and a curse all in one, that you don't have that experience of those seniors and possibly the leadership of those seniors. But I get the feeling these two have really stepped up to the plate to be the leaders, and they have them for another year. So that's kind of a nice plus. You'll see there that she's That's how that combination is supposed to be done. That cartwheel, the first foot comes down, the second one swings all the way through, doesn't touch the beam till you're ready for that second round off. Oh gosh. Very interesting, does that backflip. That would have been a lovely combination again. Twisting, tuck jump directly into that backflip. So those are things that will come as the season goes on. So you'll see that foot swung all the way through into that round up, which is how you want that connection to go. And here is that backflip off the side. It's just different. That's why I like it. You can dismount off the side, off the end if you want. You'll watch 99 of the gymnasts will dismount off the end. I love when they do something original and unique by throwing that back flip off the side.
Sasha Thompson will be up last for Maple Grove.
I think ending on the balance beam is one of the toughest challenges that you have.
Kylie Mccaffrey scores 7.625, the highest of the 4 gymnasts so far for the Crimson.
It's a really unique shoulder press mount. Hang on. Yay! How she saved that? Oh, my stars, I don't know. Beautiful connection. Straddle split, or a split jump right into that back flip. And again, adding those twisting elements increases that difficulty, which just increases the score. Nice full turn. Wolf jump into split jump, very solid on those. She does them a little bit above hip level, which is what you want to get the fullest difficulty. Cartwheel, she's gonna swing. Oh gosh, she didn't quite get the connection, but that's okay. We're probably gonna try this one more time so she can get it. So she's gonna go cartwheel, swing that foot through, right into that round off, full twist. You want to do that because you want that extra connection. So even though she missed it the first time, you know, she didn't fall. She's going to get the cartwheel, but she was able to. This is absolutely wonderful. Split jump. She lands on one foot, takes a couple of hops back, and is able to save that. And again, this is just a really seasoned gymnast because she barely makes that cartwheel kick through, but she's able to go right into the dismount, which is, you can tell she's done many, many, many of these in the gym or, you know, has practiced a lot.
And this routine's going to score in the 9s, it looks like.
In order to get the most possible points, she needed that connection, which is why she redid that last sequence on the beam. I think what impressed me in mode is she didn't quite get, you know, when she was doing that cartwheel, that foot had to go down a little quicker than normal, but she's still able to pull off a beautiful full twisting dismount.
And 9 from one judge. We'll wait for the placard to turn our way and get the other judge's score. 8.95, so 8.975 for Sasha Thompson, and that is the final varsity competitor for Maple Grove tonight. We'll take another timeout, and then we'll be back. Rebels will finish up the meet on the floor exercise in just a moment.
Worried about your friend but don't know how to reach out?
You could say how are you or get a fake tattoo. You could ask with an app if it works for you. You could chat with them in VR. It's so good. If you think you should check in, yeah, you should.
Whatever gets you talking.
Reach out to a friend about their mental health.
Whatever gets you talking.
Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org.
Final routine of the night, Champlin Park, varsity up on the floor exercise. Ellie Heltemus, Mckenna Bloom, Melanie Martin, Bella Schneider, and Jordan Smith to wrap up tonight here at Champlin Park High School.
One thing
Senior Ellie, to begin the meet, excuse me.
we didn't talk about is how nice it is to be in your own school on your own equipment. You know, because not everybody has the same stuff in their gym.
You always get a little bit of a home meet advantage, so to speak. Yeah.
A home apparatus advantage.
Although they don't get to practice here. They don't get to practice. Unlike Park Center, which got their
own
and
gym.
Maple Grove got their own gymnastics gym, they practice at Twin Cities Twisters. So it's a little bit different in that the only time they actually compete here is during the meets.
Well, if they have the luxury of competing at TCT, that's a nice gym. They've got really fun foam pits. I did not know that's where they practice. So is this Twin City Twister equipment or Champlin Park? We will find out. Give you an update on our next meet.
People will be tuning
They'll
in
be
to find
holding
out.
their breath. Send in your results. What are your guesses? Getting ready for the next tumbling pass. Here's that forward tumbling pass, which is a punch front into a forward roll. She gets ready. I think that last landing on the punch front might have kind of tweaked her ankle a little bit maybe, but there's round off 2 back handsprings. You'll see she just landed kind of low on that one. And this final one here too, just maybe not the height that she wanted to get. A great choreography, nice dance.
Ellie will score a 7.1 for that. Start out the Rebels in this final routine, and now Mckenna Bloom. Mckenna has competed varsity tonight on both the vault and the beam.
Now that back handspring, nice high back flip. And having fun with the music. As on the balance beam, a full turn, believe it or not, is required on the floor exercise too. Not quite as difficult because you're not going to fall off the floor, hopefully. Nice punch front, forward roll into cartwheel. And again, showing us change of direction. Gymnasts like to kind of take a few lower dance elements and things prior to that last final tumbling pass to just slow things down a bit, catch their breath. There's our final tumbling pass. Round up back handspring, back flip. Nice job. Great dramatic ending position. Good job.
Nice final routine of the night for the freshmen. And take a look at part of Mckenna's routine again.
That was beautiful. That was actually higher than I think she is tall. So second one, nice punch front into the dive roll cartwheel. Good series. And finally, she does round up 1 back handspring again into a really nice back flip. Shoulders are a little low on that, so tiny little bit of a deduction. But again, as we're you know, just starting off the season, I'm kind of impressed where all these girls are tonight on both teams.
Score is 7.3 for Mckenna Bloom, and now Melanie Martin. The judges aren't wasting any time getting those scores out tonight, are they?
This is, you know, we're not used to this, John.
Laura Bush and Tony Bruff scoring the floor tonight. Melina, all-rounder tonight for the Rebels.
Round up 2 back handsprings into a walkout on that second back handspring. She has really great form. She's a little bit, you know, I don't want to say taller gymnast because she's probably not that tall, but when you are taller and you create such a great line in all of your gymnastics. She's got beautiful leaps and jumps. Nice punch front forward roll into the cartwheel. You'll see the white line that goes around the floor. Gymnasts have to stay inside that one line. If they step out, there is a deduction. There's a round up 2 back handsprings, nice walkout. There's a 1.5 turn instead of a full turn. We'll receive a little bit more difficulty for that. And nice smile at the end there.
Melina seems happy with it, right?
She
Take a look at it
does.
again.
Yeah, this is beautiful. She just has great form in this walkout. Just floats down. It's nice. Her toes are pointed. We have this punch front coming up here into the forward roll, right into the cartwheel. Again, great toe point on there. You'll check there. She kind of took a quick look to make sure she was still not standing, you know, on or over that white line. Just a quick check.
Bella Schneider and Jordan Smith still to come.
Boy, they are putting these scores out pretty quick.
7.9 the score for Melina. Bella Schneider, another all-arounder tonight for the Rebels. Her high score so far, 8.25. Back
Starts
on the
with
vault.
a double punch front. Real clean. That was good. Switch split leap into full twisting tuck jump. Great dance combination. I love it. Round up, back flip, half twist into dive roll. Nice handstand pirouette. Great control on that right into full twisting tuck jump. Round of 2 back handsprings into back flip. Nice job, and again, just a big smile out there, having fun. This first one, she does round off, and it's a layout half twist, or excuse me, 2 punch fronts. Sorry, the second one was this one. The 2 punch fronts, that's a great combination. There's that half twist into dive roll. And her last one, round off 2 back handsprings into a really nice back flip. You can't tell, but she's smiling upside down while she's tumbling, and that's awesome. Floor is the one event where you can really be yourself. You can let your personality shine. You can show it in your choreography. You get the skill in your tumbling, and it's just the least scary of all the apparatuses, I think.
Bella Schneider, 7.825. And finally, Jordan Smith.
Double handstand pirouette, really difficult, into full twisting split jump. Excellent combination. First tumbling pass. Round up 1.5 twist. Anytime you add that extra half twist, we call it a blind landing because you can't really see the floor until you're standing on it. Switch leap, full twisting tuck jump. Does that punch front. There's our first out of bounds. She had way too much energy coming out of that. Move there called a Shishinova, one of my favorite moves. on the floor. It's in the corner for the final tumbling pass. Round off full twist. Nice job. Probably not so happy that she flew out of bounds there. She just has so much energy. These floors have little springs in them and stuff. And so if you, depending on how you land, you can bounce yourself right out of bounds. There's that beautiful 1.5 twist. So you'll see here, she does punch front, and then she hits that dive roll and just goes a little bit too far. She was smiling after that, so that's not so bad. Just a little too much energy.
Scored her an 8.2, which was the high for Champlin Park here on the floor. So we will take our final timeout. Deb will come back with team scores, and we'll wrap up our coverage. Maple Grove Champlin Park Gymnastics from Champlin Park High School after this.
CCX Media is the first place you go for local news and sports. But did you know you can sign up for those stories to go straight to your inbox on our website? Simply go to ccxmedia.org. Click on the subscribe button, and from there choose which notifications you want to receive. Then we'll send your favorite CCX Media news, sports, and city events straight to your inbox. Sign up now at ccxmedia.org.
Early season meet, high school gymnastics at Champlin Park, Maple Grove, with a varsity team score of 127.5 to 121.8 for Champlin Park. Welcome back to Champlin Park High School. John Jacobson, Debbie Rasmussen. Yeah, we talked about the relative youth of these teams and varsity inexperience, some injuries for both teams, and that's a little bit reflected in the team scores tonight. Not where we've seen some of these past Rebels and Crimson teams, but we'll expect to see these numbers rise as the season goes on. This is only week 2 of the year.
And that's exactly what these coaches are going to be hoping for. We're going to get a little bit more consistency in the practices in the gym, especially on the balance beam. That's the one event that you want to do over and over and over so that you get those routines without the falls, without the little balance breaks. The fact that we've got both teams with girls that are out, it'll be interesting to see what the scores will be when everybody is healthy and everybody's back to business. So it's very exciting for these two teams.
No surprising if you've watched all of tonight's meet that Sasha Thompson was the all-around champion tonight with an all-around score of 36.175, highlighted by that great floor routine of 9.575 for her. Fun to watch her, multi-time state qualifier, and it looks like she will be again in 2022.
And I believe that this routine has the potential to score really well when she gets up there, and as the season progresses, you know, she might be adding some new things and some new difficulties, be it in the dance or possibly more in the tumbling, but it's only going to go up from here. So I think we have some exciting gymnastics for her in the future, and hopefully at our state meet coming in February.
The one thing I liked about tonight's meet, even though these team scores again aren't high, all the girls seem to be having fun, right? I mean, you didn't see a lot of like storming off after maybe a fall or a couple falls or something. They were like, okay, they just kind of rolled with it and seemed to really be enjoying competing, and that's what you want to see, right?
You do want to see that as a coach and as a fellow gymnast. That team camaraderie is so important. They're encouraging each other. It is early in the season, so you kind of really can't take yourself too seriously. You want to have that great meet, but if you have a couple falls here and there or some bobbles, it's okay. We're in week 2, so they had a blast. They were fun to watch. And it's just so nice we are back in the gym without masks. Right. I'm kind of excited. And we're coming off an Olympic year where our own state, SUNY Lee won. Gymnastics is just really an exciting sport right now. And I think we're seeing that as we are watching these girls in the high school level. It's going to be a great season.
Still a couple of weeks before the holiday break, and then these teams will get back at it in early January, and then we'll get the section meets in mid-February. So the season does go pretty quickly for gymnasts.
Our
our next meet will come your way in January. January 6th, the Great Lake Conference matchup between Hopkins and Wayzata. Look forward to that. Two of the top teams in Section 6AA go head-to-head.
Always a fun meet to be able to watch, and they flip-flop every year. One year at Wayzata, and then we're at Hopkins. This year we are at Wayzata, and it will be a great meet, and that's a little bit further into the season, so things count a little bit more at that time. So it'll be fun to see how they're progressing in their skill set as well.
Join us for the meet again coming up in January here on CCX, and good luck to Champlin Park and Maple Grove as their seasons progress as well. That'll do it for our coverage tonight from Champlin Park High School. For Debbie Rasmussen and all of our crew, congratulations to Maple Grove, winner tonight over Champlin Park.